Well, today we are moving into the fourth Sunday of Advent, that we started off our first Sunday, which led into the week of hope and faith. Sorry, this is not standing up very well. Oh, sorry, just lost my notes. Okay. So this week is about, or the first week of Advent was about hope and faith. Now, hope and faith work together because with hope, we see the desired outcome. We see that we can have the experience of something. But to keep from being hopeless or moving into wishful thinking, we have to also stand in faith. And so in faith, we know that desired outcome that may have a timeline for us here in the physical world, just like a garden has a timeline. In faith, we stand in the truth, knowing that even though in the physical world we do have a timeline, in the realm of spirit, it is already so. Our desired outcome is already so. We are pouring love and energy into it. It is being made manifest in the unseen, like the seed right now in your garden is germinating in the rich, rich soil. Then we went into the second week of Advent, which was about peace. We learn that peace is not something we wait for to receive. It's not something that's contingent on our environment, that these pieces have to fall into place, then we can experience peace. No, no, no. We are peace generators. We center with that hope and faith. And then within, we generate the peace. And that is what allows us to ground ourselves, because we are always the peace generator in our life. And it doesn't matter what's going on outside of us. So we are the peace generator that allows us to do our work in the world, which led up to the third week of Advent, love. That is our work in the world, love, to be the love amplifier that we are. Which now we're in week 4 of the season of Advent. And week 4 starts off with joy. Joy. You know, we feel joy over things. Sometimes they're little magical things, sometimes they're big things, but never more than any other time of year. It is this time of year where we seem to talk about joy a lot. We pay attention to joy because it is part of the wonder of this season. So we are in the journey of Advent, which is taking us to Christmas Day, the rebirth of the light in the world. It's also weird. It's also about the darkness that it's coming. It's the darkness is growing day by day. The nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter. Now, as we move into our winter solstice, we literally cross a threshold because our winter solstice is an astronomical event about the Earth's position to the sun. And so on the winter solstice, the days will start growing longer again because we've crossed a threshold. But also, Christmas metaphysically is about crossing the threshold. That if we've experienced some dark times, as we are navigating the dark times, we remember the rebirth of the light within us, and that is how we cross that threshold from the darkness and into the light of our own being. And so today it's about joy, and joy comes from the hope, the faith, the peace, and the love. Okay, that is where joy comes from. Now, I happened to be up really early yesterday. I'm up early every day, but I was up early yesterday and I was thinking about this, how we call forth the joy. The joy is in our divine program, it's part of our program. And so I'm up really early and the dogs are up with me. And one of our dogs is a golden retriever, and he's your typical golden retriever, friendly, wiggly, energetic, wants a pet. And I was thinking about how it's in his nature. His name's Comet. It's in Comet's nature to just always be filled with joy. And so yesterday I'm sitting and I'm reading The Mental Equivalent by Emmett Fox. I reach over for my coffee and to take a sip of coffee. Comet sees this, that I am in motion. He hops up, puts his head in my lap. I scratch his ears. He's wagging his tail. And I'm like, okay, good boy, lay down. You know, I set my coffee down. I pick up my book. Well, he sees me in motion again. He hops up. He puts his head in my lap. I scratch his ears. It's like, okay, lay down. Now I'm reading and everything's quiet for a few minutes until I go to pick up my highlighter. He hops up, puts his head in my lap, needs to have his ears scratched, right? And this is the nature of this dog. I think we could say this about many of our animals, right? It's his nature to generate joy in anticipation of good, right? It's like he's just always anticipating the good. Oh, look, she's drinking her coffee. What good's going to come from this? I'll get my ears scratched. Oh, look, she picked up a highlighter. What good's going to come from this? I'm going to get my ears scratched. So he's just always, no matter what I'm doing, he's always anticipating the joy. To him, it's all good. He sees the good in every activity because it's potentially will mean he can get his ears scratched. So I was thinking about this and thinking about joy. And I was thinking, wow, that is what we are here to practice. We're here to practice that, finding the good, anticipating the good so that we are also generating joy. Of course, the challenge to this is we're finding the good, we're anticipating the good, sometimes where there's not necessarily good to be found. That's our work, right? That is our work right now. So we can ask ourselves, like I was thinking, okay, well, the big things right now that seem to be on people's minds, the pandemic and the recent presidential election. And so there are a lot of people, of course, who the pandemic's not a good thing for them. And there are a lot of people who are not happy with who our new president is or who our current president is, right? But see, those are all conditions, and it's not about making any of those good, but it's about seeing beyond it to find some good. Okay, well, what good will come through the pandemic? What's the good behind having the new president? What's the good that will come from that? So it's not about calling something good that you don't believe is good. It's not trying to pretend that something you feel is bad is good, right? This isn't about pretending. Finding the good is about remembering that God is in all the details. God is in all the details within all things, so that we can walk by faith with that hope instead of walking by sight and our perceptions, right? Our perceptions are always limited. And it was hard for me to hear that the first time I really was thinking on that. Our perceptions are always limited, just like what's in our line of sight, like our physical perception is limited. Like right now, all of you watching this, you can't see what's going on out my window, right? Because your physical eyesight is limited to the space where your head and your eyeballs are looking, right? So, but also our thinking perception is also limited. So for us to call forth the good, to call forth hope, faith, peace, love, to call forth the joy, we have to call forth something through us that is bigger than our perceptions. We have to call forth the light. We have to call forth the light through us over and over and over again, no matter the conditions, no matter what's going on out here. There will always be conditions. In the year 2019, there were other really great excuses to not go outside. Okay, if we wanted an excuse, we would find an excuse. We would find one. Okay, so there are always going to be conditions. So there's this story, and it's just a little fable, and I heard it for the first time back on that TV show, Northern Exposure. But this is the fable. There's a village, And in the village was a farmer, and the farmer had a strong young son. And one day the son goes out and he comes home with some wild horses. Like he went out and he found wild horses. Now, everybody in the village, they go up to the farmer and they're a little envious, but they say, wow, you are really lucky. You are so lucky. You have these horses and now you'll have more abundance and they'll go to work on your farm and you'll be able to get more done. Man, you are lucky. And the farmer says, well, it is what it is. We'll see. That's just what he says. So his son goes to the work of training these horses, and one of the horses throws him right off of his back. The son lands on the ground and he breaks his leg. Now the village gathers together, right? Because they love celebrating a misfortune. They gather together. Your son broke his leg. This is terrible. What will you do? Who's going to help you on the farm? You're going to struggle. Your farm could suffer. Oh, this is awful news. The farmer says to them, well, it is what it is. We'll see. Well, not long after that, the king of the land sends out his soldiers because they're going to all the little villages to recruit the strong young men to join their army and go off to war. Well, the soldiers come to this little village and they take off. All the strong young men have to go with them, except for the farmer's son who has a broken leg. And all the people of the village, they gather together and they tell this farmer, man, you are so lucky that your son did not have to go to war. And of course, the farmer says, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. The farmer was navigating his life just by observing things. He wasn't judging anything. He was just observing. And I was thinking, like, what would that be like, really? To go through our life, to go through a day, to go through an hour, 1 hour, just observing, like whatever's going on, and then deciding, okay, even though there's this condition that I don't like, that I wish was gone, that I wish never happened, even though there is this condition, I can't do anything about it. Well, what can I do with what I have? And what we can do, no matter the conditions, is we can still look for the good that's within things. Look for the good. It's we're looking for God. We're looking for God in the details. Where's God in the details of the pandemic? Where's God in the details of politics in our country? Where's God in the details of whatever thing we're worrying about right now? So where's God in the details, and what is it that I have to work with? What can I work with then? So in spite of our conditions, in spite of the conditions, in spite of our beliefs and our perceptions, we can still do something besides focus on the things that worry us. We can focus on something besides the thing that scares us. Be not afraid. Now, this is what the Archangel Gabriel, I think he must have said this every time he appeared to anybody. I don't know, like if you can imagine an angel just showing up, right? Be not afraid. So Gabriel had been busy as an angel. He had appeared to Zacharias to announce, to foretell the birth of his son, John the Baptist. Then Gabriel, 6 months later, appeared to Mary to foretell to her she would be giving birth to the light in the world. 9 months later, Gabriel appeared to the shepherds who were watching their flocks by night to tell them about the birth of the Christ child. And what he said to them, do not be afraid. I bring you glad tidings of great joy, which will be to all the world. To all the world. Those glad tidings were the birth of the Christ child. Now, those words of Archangel Gabriel, he could be saying them to us today. Be not afraid. I bring you glad tidings of great joy. The reminder that within you, the light of the Christ is reborn. It's reborn every Christmas. It can even be reborn day by day. All we have to do is focus on it. His message, be not afraid, it's the prelude to the reminder that we are to remember the Christ light within us. Be not afraid of what's going on out there. First, do this. Focus right there. Do not be afraid. And so this is for us to think about in these moments where maybe we are experiencing fear. Maybe we're worried for a loved one. We're worried for ourselves. We're worried for the planet, right? We're worried over some kind of condition. Be not afraid. I bring you glad tidings of great joy. The Christ light is born within you. Conditions cannot stop you from calling forth the light that is within you. Be not afraid. Remember the light. Focus on the light. Focus on the light. Now, I know this is easier said than done. It is, because I could say, don't think about the pink elephant. You're thinking about that pink elephant, but stop. Don't think about the pink elephant. That's not what you're supposed to think about. When you think of the pink elephant, you get sad. So stop thinking about that pink elephant. And that's essentially what we have getting thrown in our face every day. I was thinking about how it's Christmas, and I'm not used to snow. But for a brief time in my life when I was in high school, and then like a year afterwards, I lived in Pine Cove, which is by Idlewild. And every winter there was snow. And I can remember, because this is all new to me, right? Snow was a new experience for me. To stand outside when it's snowing and there's a hush that falls on the world. And it was that snow, like it felt so much like Christmas. It felt so Christmassy. That first year we lived up there at Christmas time. I can remember one night there was a full moon and I walked outside and the ground is covered with snow. Now, snow is already magical enough, but you shine a full moon on that at night and it lights up the world. Like the forest is like it's making its own light. Now, as I was talking about the snow, did you think of that pink elephant? I hope you were thinking about the snow. So luckily, there's something we can do about this. And Jesus gave us just a really short list of instructions, super short, super simple. And these help to increase the joy in our lives so that we are shifting our focus from the thing we fear, from the thing we worry about, from the thing that makes us sad or afraid. We shift our focus away from that. And instead we're focusing on what works through us, for us, as us. And it comes from the book of John, chapter 16. He says, all things that you ask straightly, directly from inside my name, you will be given. So far, you have not done this. Ask without hidden motive and be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire so that your joy may be full. Now, in unity speak, what he's saying, when he says all things that you ask straightly from in my name, he's talking about lining it up with our Christ nature, focusing on the light within us. We got to go there first. We go into if you like, for me, I will focus on my heart, in my breathing, on my heart. And I just imagine myself going inward. And then we're lining up. When we do that, we line up with our inner being, right? Our divine nature, the indwelling God. And that's where we start to experience the hope and the faith and the peace and the love. And it's going into this space that puts things in motion in our life, puts things in motion for your good. But we got to go here first. That's what puts the things in motion. Okay, next he says, so far you have not done this. Now, I have been talking about this verse for a long time, and I've always just glossed over this part. So far you have not done this. Well, you got to remember to ask, right? Ask something, ask for anything. And then I'd go into the next thing. But then I realized this is a lot bigger than I realized. it's bigger. It means so far you have not asked for something. Now we have to, first of all, have clarity to even know what we want to ask for. We have to get really, really clear on our thoughts. We have to get clear on what experience we want to create in our lives. We have to get clear. Is it, do I want to be able to move into being a peace generator and a love amplifier with ease and grace? Is that what I want? Okay, so now I'm clear on what I want, but am I paying attention to my thinking? Is my thinking and my activity in alignment with being a peace generator? Or is every time a little thing goes wrong in my life, do I throw up my hands and scream and throw a fit? Right? Because if I do that, I'm not in alignment with what it is I am desiring to create in my life. Right? So are we paying attention to our mental diet, like what we're putting into our thoughts, so that we're not getting caught up in the conditions? Okay, then he says, ask without hidden motive. Ask without hidden motive. Sometimes we ask for things we think we should ask for. You know, maybe we ask for something because we think it'll make us a good person and then people will like us. It's like when somebody, you know, makes a toast, it's like, well, I'm going to toast for world peace, but you know, really what I'd want is a good night's sleep. But so we have to ask for what it is we really, really desire and not worry about what other people think about what we're asking. When we ask for what it is we really, really desire, this keeps us authentic and it keeps us in congruence with what it is we want to create in our life. And it's being authentic that helps us to stay more easily in alignment with our indwelling Christ, the spirit within our inner being. Okay, when we're not being authentic, then we start looking at conditions. We're looking, well, did I get approval? Those people think what I'm doing is okay. Did my family agree? Right? Did I come across as like a cool person, or do I have to worry? So we stay authentic. Ask without hidden motive. Just be real. Put it out there. Just be real. Then he says, and be surrounded by your answer, be surrounded by your answer, be enveloped by your desire. So here, this is where we have to feel it and we have to speak it out loud and give thanks as if it is already so. I do scripting in a journal, and scripting is you're writing out what you desire, not what you've already got. That's for your gratitude journal, right? But in scripting, I give thanks for things I want to create in my life. And if you read my scripting book, you would think, oh, this all happened a week ago, right? That's how I write it. Like it happened a week ago. That's giving thanks for it already being so, being true, as if it's already happened. Now, this is how we're enveloped by something. This is how we are surrounded by something. We're acting as if it's already so in our imagination. We're seeing it as if it's already so. So our joy then is full, and we are seeking the good. We are aligning with our Christ nature, with our indwelling spirit. We're experiencing the hope, the faith, the peace, the love. We're seeing the good, even though conditions may not be exactly what we want right now, but we still can find the good. We're still calling forth the good. And so this is a really simple instruction that Jesus gave. Super simple. Takes a lot of work. It's not easy. It's super simple to just say, go off sugar. But it does take some work to stay committed to it. It's a little effort. So Jesus is just saying, ask, believe, participate with it, have faith in it, have faith in yourself, have faith in what it is that works through you, for you, as you give faith, give thanks as if it's already a done deal. Because if you're feeling it, if you can really feel it as if it's so, it is a done deal in the realm of spirit, in pure potentiality. It's a done deal. Now it just needs love and energy and belief and faith so that it can be made manifest into our own life. It's a seed and it's germinating. And we trust in that seed. We trust in it. So Jesus gave us some instructions. Gabriel also gave us a directive. Gabriel gave us a directive. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. In the Truth Unity Metaphysical Dictionary, angels represent, or metaphysically, are the messengers of God, right? They are the thoughts of God. Now, when I meditate, I like to visualize that I go in through my heart center and I go into the realm of spirit, of source, pure potential. When I go in there, I see the great central sun, and that's representative of God for me in my meditation. And then off of this great central sun, the rays of light are shining everywhere. Some of those rays of light are us. They're our soul. And then our soul has our body. You know, the vast majority of us is not in this body. This is just a little bit of us. Most of us is still our soul form, pure light, right? Pure enlightenment. And the angels are also a ray of light, except they don't have a body they're going into. Instead, they come through our thoughts. They come through wisdom, through us. We receive the wisdom from the angels. And so Gabriel represents wisdom. Be not afraid. Because when we can stop focusing on that and instead we're in hope and faith, we're being a peace generator, a love amplifier. We're in our Christ consciousness. And then in our Christ consciousness, in our alignment with that within, starts coming the realization of the all, how God is all things. God is everything that's ever been, everything that's yet to be. God is everything we can see. God is me, and God is you. We are the activity of God in this world. God's in the details. God's in all the activity. God is in the solutions for the problems. God is the grace that is in the darkness. God is the ideas in the confusion and the inspiration when we are feeling hopeless. God is all. God is all. You, me, our divine ideas, the things we do, then as we call forth through us and into our lives and into the world, the activity of God, we're calling forth that love that then reflects into our life. And then our higher consciousness can unify with our physical self so that we can more easily experience God at work in our lives. That's how we experience it. We experience God at work in our lives. So we're living in the experience. We live in it. Being in that experience, remembering, okay, God is all things, and that means me. God's in all the details. I wonder how God is going to appear in this. I wonder how a miracle could appear right here. I wonder what kind of solutions will come forth from all this. God is in all things. This is how we bring joy to the world. This is how we create heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, again, I just said it 40 times. You are the activity of spirit in this world. You are designed to do all of this. And everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is. So it is. Amen.